Hello and welcome back to the channel, Say What's Real TV. Here to do a review for Kingdom Business, Season 2, Episode 5, Broken People. So we open up the episode with breaking news with Sky Johnson telling us that Essence was in the car crash and that she is still alive. She's at the hospital in fair condition. We then see Rebel still meeting up with Detective Parker in the dark, and they're discussing all the audio that she's collected, but nothing is happening, and Rebel is getting impatient. So the detective told her that she has already shared all the information that they had with GBI, but nobody's implicated themselves yet, so it's going to take some time. So then Rebel, she wanted a favor from her and asked her, can she get the police file from her mom's death? The detective was like, well, looking into that old case, it's like, I guess she said it was 20 years. She said that could raise a lot of suspicions. Rebel was like, she didn't care because, look, she over there risking her life, planting bugs and this and that and the other, like basically trying to tell her that's the least you can do. And I'm just going to call it right now. The detective will not make it out of this season. So we get a quick scene with Malcolm and CJ, and we learn that they're still planning on adopting kids and have a meeting with an agency. Malcolm is trying to tell her it could be a long process, but CJ is thinking positive and saying that everything is going to work out. So we go over there to the hospital, and Taj, he's with Essence, and she's trying to tell him she's fine. And he's saying, he just want to make sure her and the baby that they're safe. He's glad that God had protection over them. And she's really just worried about how her face is looking, and she's getting ready to try to call a surgeon. So Essence, she tells them he doesn't have to feel guilty. It was all her fault because she was speeding, driving too fast. And she says, look, you don't have to be here. I'm setting you free. And he's like, oh, no. There's no other place or nobody else I would rather be with. Just blatantly lying. So I guess he thinks that she got amnesia like his mama over there pretending to have. But no, she doesn't. So the next thing you know, Essence start yelling out in pain, and you just see a lot of blood in her bed, and they start yelling out for help for the doctors and nurses to come in there. So we go over there to the Jordans, and you see the family praying for Essence and her baby, and you can tell that CJ is in her feelings about it. She's triggered because we know that CJ has been through several pregnancies, and she's lost all of her babies, so she knows what this feeling is like. And her dad kind of goes to comfort her. And then Danita, she brings up the fact that she's been healed and that her memory is back, and nobody is excited or happy about it, only Calvin, because Darlene was like and of course CJ already knew it. Darlene was like, well, good, then we can hold a press conference and let everybody know so we can get this TV special going. So Danita says, let's just pump the brakes for now because this is on a need-to-know basis. She doesn't want Caesar to know because of the whole lawsuit thing. So we go over there to Redeeming Records, and Rebel, she goes to see Caesar, and he tells her that the song that Taj wrote for her is a banger, but they're not ready to release it just yet. So he did ask her, could she help Taj out by, bringing him more to the forefront instead of just the producing. And she ends up asking him how Taj was doing, Essence and the baby. And Caesar basically told her, just pray for them. So we head back over there to the Jordans, and Calvin goes in the kitchen where Danita is cooking, and he questions her about faking her memory because Sky called him trying to get a statement before she drops this story, and Danita is just like brushing it under the rug, and he was like, no, it's a coincidence that you came clean, that your memory was back right before she drops this story. So is it true? Were you faking? So she finally admitted that she was, and said that right before she left the hospital is when it came back. And Calvin seems quite hurt about it because of the things. It seems like they were getting closer. They were being more transparent with each other. So he wanted to know, like, was any of it real? Like, were you being truthful? She says that all of it was real and that she didn't know Calvin, but when she looked into his eyes, she recognized what love was, and she wanted that for the family. So Calvin told her, well, you should have told us the truth. She said, well, I'm telling you the truth now. Like, show me what truth is. I guess Calvin was too hurt, so he just walked off. Do you guys think that Danita really wants love with Calvin now, or is she still on her BS? So we go over there to the hospital, and the doctor is talking to Taj and Essence about the baby and telling them about a particular test that she's ordered so that she can see if the baby will need long-term care. And Essence was like, are you trying to tell me that the baby could be disabled? And the doctor told them that, yes, there's a great possibility. So she told Essence that she needed to be on complete bed rest and that she needed to remain calm and that she'll check on her later. Essence, she's feeling bad about it. You could tell she's feeling guilty. She's crying. Taj is basically trying to comfort her to let her know, look, our baby is a survivor. Everything will be fine. And I got you. And she's apologizing to him, like telling him that she is sorry. So later on, we see Taj bringing in flowers and balloons to fill up Essence's room to make her feel better. And I'm like, well, dog, what kind of hospital is Essence in compared to the one that Danita was in? Because her hospital room is nice. Danita looked like she was in the middle of the hallway on a stretcher. This girl in here in her designer pajamas and everything. But anyway, so Essence, she's in there Googling everything, trying to see what's going on with the condition of the child. And Taj basically tells her, like, don't do all of that. You know, she's just worrying herself, basically. So she tells Taj that she can prolong her tour or the album being released to ensure the health of their baby, but she's not willing to give her career up should this child actually be handicapped, because she feels she won't be able to give the child the proper motherly attention that will be required. And she's telling him, like, it's her decision. So she was thinking about terminating the pregnancy if the results come back that there is something wrong. And Taj basically was telling her, no, you don't have to do all that. Taj is a stand-up guy. Taj wants a baby. He wants a family regardless. It doesn't matter to him. He told her, look, I will be the child's primary caretaker. I'll handle all of that. You don't have to do that. So how do you guys feel about Essence making that decision on her own, basically not really having a conversation with Taj about it, even though it's her body, it's her choice, but he is the father of the child. She know he wants a child. So it seemed like it should have been at least, I guess this is the discussion, but it seemed like it was pretty much, this is what I'm going to do, as opposed to what are our options, like what are your thoughts and feelings about the situation? Like, what do you guys think about that? So we hear Darlene in the studio actually laying down some vocals, and she did a good job. So once she was finished, Danita, she cleared the room and asked Darlene, like, what do you call yourself doing? And Darlene told her, look, somebody got to be around here singing. She told her that bump on the head must have knocked her voice out. And that was pretty ironic because apparently that's what happened, right? So the two of them have their usual mother-daughter banter, and Darlene dismisses herself, heading towards the board meeting. So when they get in this said board meeting, you got the board members, Danita and Sierra Joy, as a grandma like to call her. So basically the purpose of the meeting was to determine how they were going to promote Danita's TV special. Danita wanted to kind of talk about it. She was more in favor of like a global viewing, wanting to do like video on demand. Darlene, she was in favor of the Central Broadcasting hosting a TV special. So of course, anything that's going to go against Danita anyway. So she asked for a show of hands. Pretty much everyone voted with her. Danita was by herself. So she told her that was an overwhelming majority. So Danita pretty much lost that one. And I did notice that CJ did not vote. Not that it would have helped her anyway, but... So we see Rebel in the studio with Xavier, and he's making her do it over and over again because he's not feeling what she's giving. Telling her, like, listen to the words, like, make him, listen to the song. And she's saying, like, well, give me something to work with, basically calling his work trash. So she tells him when she's over there with Caesar, his music matters. It changes lives. It makes you feel something. He said, oh, so you're an expert now. Good for Caesar. Like, I'm not trying to save lives and save souls. I'm over here trying to make hit records. Like, do it again. We are slowly but surely seeing Rebel coming around to what Caesar has been trying to tell her this whole time, but I guess she just had to get there at her own pace. So at this point, Rebel is now annoyed, so she stops the session and goes to talk to him, and they get into it because she wants him to do something with the lyrics so she'll be able to sing it how she can put her own truth on it or whatever he told her. Those are his lyrics, and she needs to sing it how he wants it to be done. So things get heated, and she told him that he must have forgot that she was already on TV doing this, doing that, blah, blah, blah. And he started laughing, and she was like, well, what? He said, this is the passion. This is what we need. We got to break you down in order to build you back up to be this star. Just trust him, so we say, as he gives her this forehead kiss. But she's standing there looking like, I am not with this and I want to go back to Caesar. Trust your instincts, Rebel. Trust your instincts. So we see CJ in the record studio and Malcolm comes in and basically she got him down there under false pretenses just so she can surprise him to let him know that he has been signed to a contract with the record label. So of course he's excited. They talk about the adoption and she feels like, she wants both of the parents to be living in their truth. So they're pretty excited about it. And they choose his first single and it just happens to be a duet. And she was like, she can pull in some talent for him to sing that particular song. And he said he only wanted to do it with her. So they actually perform it and it was quite nice. I guess the name of it is When I'm With You. That's what I took from the lyrics anyway, but it was a pretty nice song. So we get more breaking news from Sky saying that she has a source that has told her that Danita has been faking her amnesia this whole time so she can avoid the lawsuit from Caesar. Of course, as the broadcast is airing, Caesar is standing there literally watching it with his attorney and said that Danita played him again. The attorney was like, she is such a great liar, and they proceed to push the lawsuit forward. No more playing games with Danita. So we get over there with Darlene, Danita, and CJ, and it sounds like Darlene is on the phone with Sky trying to put the little fire out and told her next time just come to the source. So CJ is telling them that agents are calling trying to get their clients out of the TV special because they don't want anything to do with her with this whole fiasco of her lying. So they're trying to figure out, was it Calvin? They figure he was too much of an embarrassment already. They don't think it was him. They say that Sasha was there. It could have been her. So Darlene asks Danita, who have you wronged so bad that they would be glad to take you down? And she says, oh, never mind. The list too long. Darlene is too funny. She don't care what she say out of her mouth. And then all of a sudden you see this look come over CJ's face as if she knows who may have been the source. So the next thing you know, CJ is confronting Malcolm, saying that she went through all of the NDAs from Sky's interview and his was the only one not signed. So she basically confirmed it, and he tried to make it seem like he did it for the future of their kids, and she said it has nothing to do with that. He just was trying to silently be seen. I call it getting your lick back without them knowing you getting your lick back. We know that Danita did steal his song last season. So, of course, he want to make her pay because they treat him any old kind of way. But, she tells him that can ruin her mom's career, her career. And he basically said, well, go find another one. I'm like, no, he didn't. But she says she understands now why her mom has done the things she's done and still felt alone. And said that he has lost every morsel of trust she ever had for him, and she kicked his behind out. This is probably where we're going to see CJ start emerging and becoming a little baby Danita, where she has to be ruthless and do things cutthroat like her mom has done because you can't trust people. So we'll see. So Danita, she meets up with Israel Houghton and she tries to bring up the whole thing about the amnesia, and he wants to know, like, you did have it, right? So she tells him, yeah, and then she tries to go on with that whole thing about Sky trying to spin a narrative, and he was like, look, that's really between you and God, and the world will always have their judgments. So he asked her, did she want to do like a little collaboration for old time's sake or whatever? So she said that she had a busy schedule. So he was like, oh, so you booked and busy, basically lying because she knows she has no voice. So he turns to her and says, Danita, God will always reveal the truth even when we don't want him to. He'll handle it. So over at the hospital, Taj and Essence are talking to the doctor, and she lets them know the test results came back and Essence and the baby are fine. So she takes her off bed rest and tells her that she still needs to take it easy. So the two of them, they're excited, and Essence is like, can you believe that she manifested the healing through meditation or something? And Taj looked like he was annoyed, and he was like, or God just answered our prayers. And Essence tells him, like, whatever, God, the universe, our baby, is okay. And really, that's all that really matters at this point. So Taj, he goes down to Redeeming Records where he runs into Rebel. And I guess this is the first time they've seen each other since Essence had her accident. So, they hug it out, and she tries to talk about the kiss, and you could tell she felt bad about the situation, but he stops her and tells her that him and Essence, their problems go way bigger than the kiss that happened. So basically don't even worry about it. So she was like, well, for what it's worth, I have been praying for the three of you, and I'm glad that you're okay. And she sees that God has been, doing good things in his life. So he tries to be real shady, talking about, oh, so you're not going to give credit to the universe, because he knows that's something that Essence would have said. And Rebel told him she barely hanging on to God. She don't have time to grab the entire universe. So, of course, after that, we get that awkward moment where the two of them, don't know what to do with each other. And I would think that Taj would have in the back of his head the way he felt the last time this moment happened and Essence popped up behind him. But I guess you can't help how you feel when you're feeling it. So Caesar, he goes to see Danita and tells her, I see you got the little gift I sent you. So she slings it on the floor. And she says, look, I will happily write you a check to get you out of my face after I do my show. He said, I don't want your check. You don't have enough money for me. I'm taking you to court because I want all your lies and deceptions to be placed in front of the world for everyone to see. And she was like, do you think they will really believe you? He says, yes, they will. And I'll see you in court. He walks out and she has this look like she'll do something to him before she allows that to happen. So I hope that nothing happens to Caesar. The detective, she goes over to Rebel's house and gives her the file that she asked for concerning her mom, and she notices some red flags. So she says that everything is pointing towards her taking her own life, and the drugs that were in her system points to that, but there were no drugs or drug paraphernalia left in the apartment where she was. So Rebel says her mom didn't do drugs. Maybe somebody slipped her something. She also showed Rebel who signed off on the paperwork, and it was Chief Ray. So now Rebel has it in her mind that Chief Ray may have something to do with covering up her mom's murder, and the detective is asking, did he have some type of personal relationship with Raven? And Rebel said not that she know of. So before she leaves, the detective gives Rebel this bag that has some of Raven's belongings that were on her when she passed. And after she leaves Rebel, she goes through the bag. You see like a phone, a brush, her ID, and a necklace. So now Danita wants to try to go and fix everything, and Darlene told her basically it's too late because you lied about having amnesia. We've lost all kind of offers. The networks, they're backing out. Our backup plan is to basically sell a portion of your record collection. And Danita was like, you can't sell my music. And Darlene told her it doesn't belong to you. It belongs to the kingdom. So security, he shows up, and Darlene was like, take her off the premises. And Danita said she wasn't going nowhere. Darlene told her, look, you either going by choice or by force, but you're getting up out of here. And she said, look, you're more than welcome to come and get some studio time. That's if you can find the right song. But let's be perfectly clear. You are fired, and take all this junk with you. Baby, that Darlene is nothing nice. So we see Taj and Essence at the hospital, and apparently maybe she's getting released, I guess. So they're talking, and she's giving him his way out once again. Like, look, if you don't want to be with me, that's fine. I know you're only doing this because of the baby. And he tries to reassure her that he wants to marry her. He keeps insisting that that's what he wants to do. So she says, okay, fine. But only under one condition, that you stop working with Rebel. He says that Rebel will be leaving Redeeming Records anyway, but they do have one last song on her album that they have to finish. So she said, go ahead and finish that. Because, she really doesn't want to be worrying about what's going on, this and that and the other, and she wants him to be honest about it. So he agreed. So he gets on one knee and basically puts the ring back on her finger, and she's saying now that she doesn't want this whole over-the-top wedding that she was describing with the wedding planner. She just wants something with her family, his family, something that's very intimate, and she doesn't need the world to see. And I peeped how she told him she loved him, and he didn't say it back. So we see Danita still on the premises because she never left, apparently. She's on the computer, and CJ walks in. So Danita, she asks CJ for some help because she's trying to drop a surprise single from her Moment of Glory Deluxe album. But basically, she's trying to show Darlene that she's nothing to play with either. So CJ told her that that was a great idea and said that Danita Jordan is back. And Danita had to let her know, look, I don't have my voice. She told her the truth, and CJ was more than willing to try to help her out, find out what she can do, says she'll get her a therapist for her PTSD and all of that. And they had a real little mama-daughter touching moment, and I really liked that part. She told her she had the perfect song to put out, and they were in agreement with that particular song. Next thing we know, we're back in the board meeting, and this time Danita is calling the meeting under some bylaws where she is able to do so. So Darlene comes in like, what are you still doing here? I already fired you earlier. And she lets her know, look, I have the #1 single on the streaming app, blah, blah, blah. And Darlene was like, well, that's good that you was able to get some loose change. So Danita says that's what she does. She brings in the money. She says that Paramount Plus is willing to broadcast her TV special again. So her and her mom, they go back and forth in this little heated exchange, and it was heated. I mean, the acting was phenomenal. Loretta Devine showed her behind off. She did a great job, and they end up voting. So Danita asked the board members, are they willing to, vote Darlene out so she's able to run this company without any more interruptions? And all of them agreed that Darlene had to go. So that same security guard from earlier, slightly impolitely, escorted Darlene out of the building. So in the last scene of the episode, we see Rebel go and see Calvin, and she tells him that she has something she thinks he might want to see. So she tells him that she's bringing it to him because she feels like she can trust him, but he can't say anything. And he wants to know where she got it from, but she said somebody. But he can't say a word to anybody about it because it would ruin the entire investigation. And then he realizes that she was at the private party undercover and not so much as a working girl. So he opens up the file and he sees Ray Johnson's name signed off on the paperwork, and he looks up and sees a necklace around her neck and asks her, where did she get it from? And she says, oh, do you recognize it? And she tells him that it was with her mom's stuff. He said, yes, I do, but it didn't belong to your mother. And the episode ended there. Oh, child. So who do you guys think the necklace belongs to? The only thing I can come up with is Danita, but it needs to be another twist to that, I would think. But who knows? Drop down in the comments and let me know what you guys think. As always, you guys, thanks for watching. Thanks for listening, and I'll catch you on the next one. Peace.